What's up YouTube? I'm the trial guy. Today we're going to be talking about war room needs when you're out at trial and you need a space to work. What are your options and what we typically find that we like to do. And if you see behind me, there's no furniture in this hotel room. We've had the hotel clear it out completely. A lot of times hotels are perfectly fine doing this, and they'll set up a storage room or a couple storage rooms if you have multiple rooms, and they'll get everything out of there. In this case, they actually didn't get rid of the dresser because it's huge, it's heavy, it's cumbersome. Sometimes we run into that, or they won't do it. But these rooms are big enough where we can set up a couple stations in this room, and we actually have about 5 other rooms to replicate a similar design to this. But you can set up a couple workstations in each room. You could set up a room with just a table in the middle or a couple tables in the middle as a prep room. You can set up like an eating room. We have a space that I'll show you that's going to be specific for just kind of lounge, where we're going to eat, where we're going to put our snacks. The other nice thing about doing it this way is you can find rooms that have adjoining doors, and that's pretty common. We've all seen those doors that connect into another room. Usually I don't like those when I'm staying at a hotel, but when you're designing a workroom or a war room space, that's great because you can have just a nice flow between rooms, and your teams can just easily go in and out between rooms. When you get started with the design piece of it, it's important that you work very closely with the sales team at the hotel, make sure that they know what you're doing, also that they know what you want, and that you're all on the same page, because it's very important that nothing gets missed through the process, or there's no miscommunication, because the last thing you want is to irritate the hotel. You're going to be there for a long time. You want them on your side and vice versa. So with that said, the hotel helped clear out the furniture in these rooms. I'm going to bring in some tables and kind of design it how I want, and then we're going to get into networking, and we're going to bring in printers, and we're going to run internet lines and docking stations and monitors to all the workstations. But the first thing that we're going to want to do is just start designing it in a way that makes sense. I like to think about where the attorneys are going to work, where the staff is going to work, what makes the most sense to be comfortable but yet to be productive. I think it's important that you kind of know your team, and that you have attorneys working together that work well together, or you have attorneys working in their own rooms completely if they're more private and they want their own space. I think it's also important that your staff is close together. They're going to be loud with copying and printing and building kits and binders and prep kits, and you got to factor that in as well. So once you determine who's going to work well with who, then the next step is kind of laying out the floor map of the room. So here's another room that I'm working on the layout for, and this is more the meeting, snack room, kind of the lounge room. I always recommend that you have a place that you can totally go that maybe isn't as work related, just to try to get out of the office feel. You're already away from what feels normal, so try to get something that you can clear your head a little bit in the small space that you actually have to work with. So we've kind of set up the layout of a standard office style room. This would be an example of more of a lounge. We want to have lower lighting, we want to have it kind of chill, we want to have lots of good snacks. I always take a survey from trial teams of what they want to see for snacks, because a lot of times they don't really think about it, they're not thinking about it, but as soon as it's there and available for them, it's just a comfort. And you can never underestimate the power of food, drinks, and snacks at a trial. So this is debatably one of the more important rooms, and what we've done here is empty the furniture out of a larger suite, and we've left the couch in. We've kind of brought in, and I can pan over a little bit, but we've brought tables, so we're going to set up chairs, and it's going to be where you eat food. We got a full-size refrigerator brought in. That's something that we had to rent. We have racks that get brought in, wire racks. We have shelves. All that stuff has to come in from outside companies, otherwise you have nothing to set anything on, short of tables, the floor, and what limited counter space that you have. I just got done making a run to Target. I also picked up lighting. That's probably one of the biggest overlooked items, is lights. Hotels don't have overhead lights, except for this one actually does, which is a little bit strange, so it made it easier for this room. But a lot of hotel rooms, you don't think about it, but they don't have light. So we always pick up some floor lamps. They're typically cheaper just to buy them than to ship them. So picking them up for about 12 bucks each light is just kind of the cost of going to trial. So anyway, I'm going to get this room set up, and that's about it. Alright, so we're kind of back. It's been, we're in a different day now. Been doing a lot of work here, and this is the same room that we initially started this video in, and hopefully you can see behind me that we're starting to look a lot more like an office complex and a lot more comfortable of a space to work. We got workstations, we got copiers, we got printers, we're getting all networked right now. We got our routers, we have lamps, we have lots of lamps. Got to make sure we can see, but this is a standard. We have supplies. It's very important that you make sure that you set up and have all the supplies that you need, including medical supplies, binders, everything. This is our new and improved eating space, lounge space, snack space, clear your head space. Always a good idea to put signs on the doors. Keep it confidential with just initials. Perfect office for somebody that wants to work by themselves. Maybe wants a little bit more space. Works more efficiently when by themselves. And last but not least, make sure you have a good prep room. And that's a general overview of tips and ideas and things to consider when you're setting up your war room and your workroom for your trial. I'm the Trial Guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.